Hello, this is Dr. Lisa Marie Bobby, and you're listening to the Love, Happiness, and Success podcast. That delightful little song is Goodbye from the Daisy Factory. And we're talking about how to say goodbye today, and in particular, how to say goodbye to 2014. And not just say goodbye like I'm never going to think about you again, but say goodbye and really do some reflecting on what you learned from this year and what you took from it, but also how to let it go and make space for all the good things that are going to be happening in your life in 2015. Because that's what we're really concerned about. So, welcome to the Love, Happiness, and Success podcast. This is a podcast where we talk all about how to help you feel happier, have better relationships, or feel like you're creating the success that you deserve and are actually getting somewhere in your life. So everything we talk about this show is all about love, happiness, and success. And today we're going to be talking about how to put away 2014 and make space for 2015, but to do it in such a way that you're more likely to be successful in all those fabulous resolutions that you're about to make. So that's what we're talking about today. But first of all, before we get started, let me give you a couple of quick announcements. If you haven't yet already, connect with me on Facebook. I love connecting with people on Facebook. Go to my page. It's Dr. Lisa Bobby on Facebook, and simple enough, and connect with me, because you know what I like about connecting with people on Facebook is that I get to hear about what is important to you, because at the end of the day, I have a pretty good idea of what's important to people that I see in my counseling practice or my coaching practice, people that I talk to. But every once in a while, I get an idea from somebody online that maybe I haven't met personally, and it's so inspired. And so communicate with me and let me know what kinds of topics would be most helpful to you. And then I can make a podcast on that subject and help you out, because that's really why I do this, is just as a platform, a way of putting good information out into the world that can help people. So if you haven't listened to this show before, my ideal, what I'm doing here, I'm a therapist, I'm also a life coach and a marriage counselor, and I have a practice in Denver. But, you know, my practice is limited to just the handful of people that I can work with personally every week. And so I decided a while ago that I wanted to expand and just put more information out into the world. So again, everything I talk about is intended to be helpful to you. And so let me know what you would like to hear about. Now, also, if you are in Denver, and particularly if you are single in Denver, I have a treat for you, because it's dating season. And if you don't know what dating season is, you're going to be hearing much more about that from me over the next few weeks. I have a number of podcasts and also articles coming up on my blog. If you haven't checked out the blog yet, go to growingself.com and you can see all kinds of articles and advice and stuff there for you, in addition to the recorded podcasts. But we're going to be talking a lot about dating, because this is the time of year when people are out there looking, and you yourself may have a New Year's resolution that involves finding the one this year. And so if that's the case for you, and if you're in Denver, I want you to come join me at the Great Love Debate. It's a national event. It's like a series of town hall discussions for single people. They happen all across the United States, and I'm so excited because there's one coming to Denver on the 21st of January. And I'm going to be on the expert panel answering questions, but it's a lot of fun. They invite 100 single men, 100 single women, and have a conversation about what the problem is. And with all these beautiful, wonderful single people, what are some of the obstacles that get in the way? And what is some advice that experts have for overcoming it? So it's going to be myself and 5 other dating and relationship experts, including the dating coach slash guru, Rachel Greenwald, who I kind of have a crush on. And so I'll be very excited to be sharing the stage with her. And so if you can make it, it's going to be really great. It's on the 21st of January in Denver. You can learn more about it at www.greatlovedebate.com, and you have to get tickets in advance, so be sure to get your tickets in advance. You just can't show up, and if you do go online to buy them, use the promo code Rockies and you'll get $10 off. So I hope to see you there. I'm going to hang out after the event, so we can chat if you go. Anyway, okay, so that's all that I have to talk about before we jump into today's topic, which is how to say goodbye to 2014 in a way that will help you be more successful with the resolutions and the things that you want to create for your life in 2015. And so here's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about saying goodbye. I had this wonderful teacher in my doctoral program, Dr. Sean O'Halloran, who we were all terrified of. If you're listening, Dr. O'Halloran, we loved you, but you were a little bit scary, but you were very wise. And she always used to say, you have to say goodbye to something before you can say hello to something new. And I think what she was saying is that really, in order to be able to embrace change and newness in our lives, we need to, one, understand what it is that we're actually leaving behind and have that self-awareness. And two, get some closure, be able to kind of draw a line in the sand and say, I am leaving this behind and now I am embracing a new thing. And this is certainly true for ending relationships and starting new ones. But I think that this wisdom holds true for our personal evolution also, because we really need to say goodbye to the old habits and patterns and problems we've been dragging around. We have to be able to say goodbye to these things before we can really shed that skin and become new people and have that transformation that I think we all sort of hope for on some level with the dawn of a new year. And I think that not doing this can be one reason why our New Year's resolutions sometimes don't stick. It's because we're just slapping new ideas or new practices or behaviors onto this junk that we haven't cleared out. You know what I mean? So it's just because you make some big sweeping statement about how this is the year you're going to exercise and eat well and be healthy, that doesn't make it so, even if your intentions are very good. Because without doing exploration and figuring out what you need to say goodbye to, i.e. what has been contributing to your being unhealthy in the first place, you're going to be less likely to make changes that stick. So, for example, if the reason that you're overweight is because you eat and veg out in front of the TV, emotional eating, that kind of comfort eating, just deciding that you're going to exercise and eat more carrots is not going to change that part. It isn't. You first have to understand what it is that you need to say goodbye to. I need to say goodbye to spending my evenings sitting on the couch eating ice cream, and also then be able to say hello to getting more exercise and eating carrots. Does that make sense? So New Year's is a time to make resolutions and do things differently, but we also have to be willing to look at ourselves, look at what we have been doing in the past, and being really willing to say goodbye to it and also be aware of it, because without self-awareness and that willingness to say goodbye to what you're leaving behind, it's very difficult to be different and to make changes. Another analogy is like buying a bunch of new stuff without cleaning out space in your house or for your closet for it. And then the new stuff, it gets all piled up on top of old stuff and it all gets crunched up and mixed together and it's not new anymore. It's just a mess, So we're clearing space. We're making space because I don't want that to befall you. I don't want that to happen to you where you try to make changes and feel disappointed with yourself come February. And so that's why I want to offer you something new this year, which is the opportunity not to just make resolutions and set positive intentions, but the chance to really and truly leave some things behind that should be left behind. And so here are a few strategies for how to crack into this, because you need to know what it is that you're saying goodbye to, because it's the stuff that we don't know about that will really mess us up. If you have motivations or things that have been holding you back and you don't even know what they are, it's almost impossible to change it. So step one, know what we're saying goodbye to. And the best way that I know how to do this is just to do some simple reflecting. And so that's what I'm going to lead you through today. And we still have a couple days before the end of the year. You still have a few days to do some reflecting before making those big New Year's resolutions. And so this is why I wanted to give you this podcast now, because it is such an introspective time. And so I hope that these ideas help you as you are maybe clearing out your literal closets in anticipation for 2015, and clearing out your basement, making space for the new year in your house. Let's also make some space for the new year in your head and in your heart and in your life and in your awareness. Okay, so here we go. What I would like for you to do in efforts to sweep things out and say goodbye properly is transport yourself in your mind's eye back to the beginning of 2014, the beginning of the year, the stroke of midnight, January 2014, and think about where you were. Let's just create the image. Where were you? Dancing on a speaker? At a nice dinner out somewhere, dressed up? Or were you like me and my husband? We heroically offered to watch a bunch of kids so that some people that we know could go out and have a good time. So I fell asleep on the floor watching Madagascar 3 last New Year's Eve. But my life is pretty awesome. But that's not the point. The point is to just find an anchor, an experience that really connects you to that point in time, the beginning of the year. For me, it was laying amidst piles of Legos watching Madagascar 3. But anyway, so once you have that little mental movie of where you were, let's walk through the year together. So we'll take it in segments, take it in seasons. I think that our memories are connected to emotion, but I think they're also connected to physical sensations. So think about what was going on in the late winter and the spring of 2014. So it was still cold, it was still dark, it was after the holidays. Where were you and what were you doing? What were the highlights and what were the lowlights? Try to put yourself back in that space and think about what you were working on at that time, what you learned about yourself during that period of time, what kinds of things were working for you and what was not working for you at that time. You can make a mental note of this stuff as you're kind of cruising through these reflections in your head, or even better, you can pause me and go get some paper and start to making some notes and writing down, what was I doing? What was I learning? What was I accomplishing? What was I not accomplishing? What was I doing that was getting in my way, actually, looking back on it now? And just ask yourself those questions. And then moving forward, once you've reflected properly, let's go further into the year. So the weather gets warmer, there's more light. Imagine yourself, you were in a tank top and going into late spring and the summer. Think about what was going on with you during that season. What were you working on personally? Who was in your life? What were you learning about yourself or other people? And again, just reflect back on what was working for you and what wasn't working. Were there mistakes that you were making that maybe you didn't know at that time, but maybe you do now? Pause me again if you want more time. But if not, let's move on and let's consider this past season. So, just when it started to get cold again, September, October, we're going back into work mode and diving down into working and being more serious and then preparing for the holidays. Think about your personal and emotional circumstances as the weather started to cool off. What was going on with you? What you've been working on over these last few months, what your aspirations have been, and what your lessons were. and think about it. What do you know about yourself that you didn't know then? As you look at the last year in whole, were there patterns that you can see? If there was something that you were doing that you kind of looking back think probably wasn't the best for you, imagine how your year might have been different if you had been able to say goodbye to that. And just pause and reflect on this journey, because it has been a journey. And as you do this reflection, you might also discover that there are some things that you did really, really well this past year and that you deserve to be proud of and that you deserve to be happy about. And so this is a time for celebrating your accomplishments too, and really giving yourself credit. I mean, if your needle moved from January 2014 to where we are coming up on January 2015, pause and acknowledge it, because that is really worth celebrating. And just know that the effort that you put in to your life this past year might have really paid off for you. And also recognizing habits and patterns or old ways of thinking or old ways of relating to people or old ways of relating to yourself that maybe were present for you this past year. And those are the things that it's time to say goodbye to. Think about what you need to let go of as this year draws to a close. Again, allow yourself to feel gratitude for all the good things. And if there were some things that, weren't that awesome that happened to you this year, I am sorry. And I hope that this time of reflection also can help you connect with hope. Hope that the second chance you're about to get as the clock moves forward brings good things for you in 2015. So this is a short podcast because I really want this to be experiential. Take the time that you would have spent listening to me blab for another 20 minutes and do some writing, do some thinking, or talk to a friend, talk to your husband about your experiences this past year, and really allow yourself to close this chapter fully and decide what is going to be cleared away before you turn your face to this bright, fresh light of a new year and let good things come in. So I really hope that these ideas helped you. Again, just to recap, get clear about what it is that you need to say goodbye to, and then get closure with it and mentally, emotionally put it away. We have to create space to bring new things into our life, which is what you're about to do. So I will be back in touch with you very soon with more advice on the blog at www.growingself.com. And I've decided that over the next couple of months, I'm going to be doing some more podcasts on just kind of generally how to stay motivated. And my hope is to help you be as successful as possible with the resolutions that you do set this coming week so that I can support you in creating the success that you deserve. So check back again with me soon. And I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.